In 1935, 6 years after the Black Thursday that led the world's economy into the Great Depression in 1929, the U.S., under the presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt, introduced the New Deal. It was a series of economic programs that focused on the so-called 3 Rs: relief, recovery, and reform. The Wagner Act, which is officially the National Labor Relations Act of 1935, is the single most important piece of labor legislation enacted in the United States in the 20th century. The act prohibited employers from engaging in unfair labor practices, like setting up a company union and firing or otherwise discriminating against workers who organized or joined unions. The Wagner Act takes its name from the U.S. Democrat Senator Robert Wagner. There are 6 main objectives of the Wagner Act, according to Carl Clare, an expert in this area. By encouraging collective bargaining, the Act aimed to subdue strikes and other forms of industrial strife or unrest, because industrial warfare interfered with interstate commerce. That is, it was unhealthy in a business economy. Moreover, although this thought was not embodied in the text, industrial warfare clearly promoted other undesirable conditions, such as political turmoil, violence, and general uncertainty. The Act sought to enhance collective bargaining for its own sake because of its presumed mediating or therapeutic impact on industrial conflict. The Act aimed to promote actual liberty of contract by redressing the unequal balance of bargaining power between employers and employees. The Act was intended to protect the free choice of workers to associate amongst themselves and to select representatives of their own choosing for collective bargaining. The Act was designed to promote economic recovery and to prevent future depressions by increasing the earnings and purchasing power of workers. And finally, industrial democracy. This is the most elusive aspect of the legislative purpose, although most commentators indicate that a concept of industrial democracy is embedded in the statutory scheme, or at the least was one of the articulated goals of the sponsors of the Act. Senator Wagner frequently sounded the industrial democracy theme in ringing notes, and scholars have subsequently seen in collective bargaining the means of establishing industrial democracy, the means of providing for the workers' lives in industry the sense of worth, of freedom, and of participation that democratic government promises them as citizens. In Canada, labor's pressure in the workplace and in the political arena forced the government's hand. In early 1944, the ruling Liberal government passed an Emergency Order in Council, PC 1003. That protected the workers' rights to organize and required employers to recognize unions chosen by a majority of workers. This emergency law was extended by 2 years after the war's end to ensure labor stability in the transition to a peacetime economy. This pivotal change in our labor laws had far-reaching effects on industrial relations in Canada. It meant that employers now had to bargain with legally certified organizations of their employees. Be sure to visit the Innovation Station and download your own copy of the Wagner Act.